Okay, so everyone can hear me. So this was we had this poll as a fun activity, and I will share the results just to show you the results. So we had K-12 K2 teacher and 3 to 5 grade teachers, and we have some special ed teachers. And for the technology tools, Google Form was the most frequently used. And there are a few people who responded Go Formative. So hopefully this person can get some more useful information about Go Formative. And Google Classroom was the most widely used learning management system. And conferencing tool Zoom, so you must be very familiar with this Zoom setting. So I will stop sharing results and I will start the presentation. Let me share my screen. Okay, so well, thank you for coming to this presentation, the workshop. My name is Dabe Lee. I'm an associate professor at Empire State University, and I serve as the program director of the Instructional Design and Technology graduate programs. I coordinate this project of moving teaching online workshops, and I'm the mother of 2 sons. One is first grader, and the other is a preschooler. So my first grader started online schooling, and I was worried. However, the teachers did an awesome job. My boy was very excited to see his teacher and classmates and was looking forward to his online meeting. However, because he was so young, he's first grader, and he needed assistance from me, and especially for assessment. So students got frustrated and teachers seemed to be frustrated as well because they could not provide face-to-face assistance as they did in a classroom. So his teachers used Google Slides and Seesaw and other tools for assessment. And I remember one of his teachers was just checking on everyone and calling out each individual student's name to see if they need help, because she cannot see what's going on and what they are doing and whether they need help. So I wanted to share this technology tool for assessment that works better in synchronous online learning environments and how to use it. So I will first talk about the theoretical background and introduce Formative, the technology tool that can be useful in synchronous online and face-to-face environments. Finally, I will demonstrate how to create and implement an assessment using Formative. So before we begin, I would like to make this session as interactive as possible. So feel free to ask questions or make comments during the session. So you don't have to wait until the end of the presentation. When you have something to say, you can enter your comments or questions in the chat box. I'm sure you are very familiar with the Zoom setting, but you can click this button at the bottom to open the chat box to enter your questions and comments. And I will try to monitor the chat as and see if there are any questions and address them as soon as possible. Please do not start your video because this session will be recorded and is being recorded and shared with the public. And I will have to let you know that I will have to end this session at 2:55 so that the next workshop can start promptly. Okay, so first, theoretical background. Have you heard of NCLB, the Act of No Child Left Behind of 2002? Can anyone tell me what it means and what they wanted to accomplish with the act? I'm sure if you are an educator, you have much thing to say about it. Let me see. Let me see the chat. Nothing to share about NCLB? Okay, I will move on. So I have a response from Leah so that all students across the US would be learning the same concepts. Yeah, it happens to be like that. But basically, what they wanted to do is to bring all students to the proficiency level on state test by year 2013 and 2014. So now we are in 2020, and what happened? It failed. It failed brutally, but there was an almost identical idea in 1960s. Here is a picture of Benjamin Bloom. Do you recognize his name? Maybe back in your college years. Can anyone tell me what he is famous for?
Bloom's taxonomy of learning, the little pyramid with the higher order skills.
Well, thank you so much. So Bloom's taxonomy is what he is most famous for, but he devised an instructional approach called mastery learning in 1968. So Bloom insisted that every learner can reach their mastery, but there were two conditions. If everybody is given enough time and we use right methods. That means students need to learn using right methods and they should be provided with enough time to master the current topic before they move on to the next one. However, in reality, we have only a small percentage of students who reach mastery. Then is it possible for every learner to reach their mastery? And more importantly, what are the right methods? So Bloom and his students empirically tested this idea. He had three conditions. Conventional condition, where there was one teacher and 30 students, and a conventional teaching method was used. Mastery condition, with the same ratio of teacher and students, but with the mastery learning method. And individual tutoring condition with one-to-one teacher-student ratio. Bloom compared the academic achievement of students in the three conditions, and this is the conventional group. X-axis here is the achievement scores, and y-axis here is the number of students. The conventional group followed a normal curve. There were students who did not do well, and some who did very well, but the majority was in the middle. This is the proficiency level, and only 20% of students reached the proficiency level. The orange line represents the students in the mastery learning condition. You see the curve is shifted now to right and has a higher peak than the purple curve, the conventional condition, which means more students reached a higher level of achievement. Even the same proficiency level, now 20% of the mastery learning students attained the achievement level reached by only the highest 20% of the students under conventional instruction. Another way to compare them is to compare the average students under these two conditions. This is the average student under conventional instruction, and this is the average student under mastery learning. When you compare them, the average student under mastery learning was about 1 standard deviation above the average of the conventional group, 1 sigma. Finally, the curve even got better under individual tutoring condition. Given the same proficiency level, now 90% of the individually tutored students attained what was attained by the top 20% of students under conventional instruction. So individual tutoring is most effective, as you can see. But as you can imagine, tutors can give personalized attention to students by continuously assessing the students' learning and addressing their learning deficiency immediately by providing just-in-time feedback and modifying their teaching to individual students and give sufficient time for students to master the content. Again, when we compare the average student of the conventional and individual conditions, there are two standard deviations away from each other. So in sum, Bloom empirically showed that it is possible to increase students' performance by 2 standard deviations or by 2 sigmas. He referred this as a 2 sigma problem, that our one-size-fits-all system is holding the students back whose academic performance can improve by 2 sigma. He believed that by changing our educational system, we can solve this 2 sigma problem. This is the theoretical background of the Every Student Succeeds Act of 2015 that has replaced NCLB. Then what made the difference? What were the differences among those 3 conditions? In the conventional condition, there was a lecture followed by a test, and they move on to the next topic regardless of mastery. In the mastery condition, there was a lecture and test, but the tests were used as formative assessment to check students' understanding, followed by corrective procedures, and one more test as a summative assessment. The individual condition had the same method with the mastery condition. What is noteworthy here is that the mastery learning condition had the same teacher-student ratio with the conventional condition, which was 1 to 30. With the same ratio, but using different methods, he was able to attain significant improvement from 20% to 70% mastery. This research shows that this is possible to attain better results within our educational environment by changing our practice. Then, what were the differences among the 3 conditions? Yeah, it's apparent. Having tests as formative assessment and corrective procedures. So we call this formative assessment. Bloom believed that formative assessment is a core element that can solve this 2 sigma problem. Formative assessment is not just another testing. I just want to make sure I address this. In his research, he had 3 components in formative assessment: task as a practice, feedback was given, and most importantly, corrective procedures took place where students can take the feedback and correct their misunderstanding before they move on to the next topic. So their learning deficiencies don't get accumulated. So formative assessment is not just testing students, it involves giving students opportunity to check their understanding and receive feedback and address their learning deficiencies before advancing to the next topic. So I would like to introduce a technology tool that can facilitate the formative assessment procedures in online learning as well as in classrooms. Do you have any questions so far? Okay, moving on. So the tool is formative, and this is good for classroom use when you have a one-to-one device and for synchronous online instruction. With the coronavirus, many teachers like you had to move their instruction online, and you may have to for the next academic year. So this is a tool that can greatly enhance your online learning practice. So with this, you can create a formative assessment from scratch, but also, as you see, you can upload the existing worksheet and easily add questions to the worksheet and enter answer keys, which allow teachers to instantly grade them and provide immediate feedback to students. And how this tool is differentiated from other quiz tools is that you can monitor students' progress real time like this, so that you can identify who needs help and provide immediate assistance to them. This allows teachers to provide individualized feedback just in time and use class time or instructional time in online more efficiently and be able to manage the classroom more efficiently. So this feature is even helpful in synchronous online class where teachers cannot physically monitor students' work. Even better, you can track students' growth over time using Tracker and see their mastery on academic standards by linking each assessment to a specific academic standard. So let's try it out. Open a web browser and go to formative.com and enter this join code. And do not complete the assessment yet, or you can use this link. I just entered it in the chat box. Okay, let me make sure that everyone. And here, if you prefer opening a web browser and enter the join code, here is the join code. Let me switch the gear. Okay. Is there anyone who needs more time? Okay, so we'll move on. So this is the formative assessment that I created for this workshop. And what I wanted to show you is this is the screen that you see when you sign up. And you have edit, assign, and view responses. And when in the edit button, you can create an assessment or content. And what's good about this tool is, let me actually, there is this button, it's preview button. You can click on this button and see how students look at this formative. And you can choose a device. If they are using a laptop, you can choose the laptop, iPad, and a mobile phone. So let me see. And when you go to the show your work, when you have a show your work, you can just click on it and see how the students view. And this is good for the demonstration if you need to demonstrate how to use formative. And when you see, this is the color, you can choose the color. And usually it's set to black, so it's hard to see. So you have to let them know this is the button and you can choose the color. And then you can choose the size. And this is a pencil, so you can draw the line like this. This is a shape tool, square or rectangle, and circle. And you can click on the image and add the image from your computer or Google Drive. And you can add text here. So this is mastery. And this is the select tool, and you can change the size using the select tool. And you can delete using the eraser, and you can move the canvas. So if you're using a Chromebook, you may have to move the canvas a bit to adjust the screen and this or zoom in. or zoom out. You can go back. So this is how students can use it. Let's go back and please go ahead and complete the questions and feel free to enter the incorrect answers so that I can show you how it looks like. If you go to view responses, and actually exit out from the preview and view responses, I can view your responses. So go ahead and complete it. So we had 3 questions. And what's nice about this preview is that you can show their names. And if you are presenting to the entire class to save their face, you can hide their names as well. And this is color coded, so the green means it's correct and red means it's not correct. So I can provide the feedback by clicking on this and type feedback here. Here is my feedback. So this helps to identify who needs help and then provide individualized feedback just in time. And you can grade it here. Okay, here as well. You can see the green button and yet a red color coded. Then I can provide the answer. So this case, it's practice corrective procedure and feedback. Go back to here, and so now people are doing it. And I can, so if I see some student who is not progressing, I can call out this person if you are having a Zoom session with them or provide feedback right here. Okay, and that was view responses, and another menu was assign. So you can assign this using a guest code, like guest students, but you need to click on here to find the guest code, and you can find the link here, or you can find the link to the Google Classroom and embed the code. Or you can assign to specific class. And then let me make sure I cover everything. And so to exit out from this view is you click this button. So this is the home page of the Formative. This is your dashboard. And you have 4 menu: Formatives, Classes, Tracker, and Library. And you have this menu over here. This is Help Center, and this is Notification, and this is your account. So let me demonstrate how to create a formative. And this is the folder and the individual formative. So you can organize your formative into folders. Okay. So when you click to create a new formative, you click on New Formative and click on this Add button. So you can add the content and add a question. And there are some questions that are not activated in these the for premium account, but there are enough types of questions for free account. And what I like, let me actually show you the multiple choice. So you can type your question here, an option. And what's nice about this tool is you can tag your standard. You can search your standard like plant and choose your standard, then your formative will be tagged to this its standard, and you can track students' progress on this standard, which is very nice. But to do so, you have to add your standard set to your account. So to do that, you have to go to your account and settings. And here you can add your standard set. You can choose, there are common core standards and there are some candidate standards, but not all. But you can request your standards to be added to this set, and then confirm and exit, and it's added. Okay. And let me go back to the formatives. So this was the formative assessment that I was creating. And let me show you how to create a PDF upload. So I click on the plus button and click on the enhance PDF doc, Google Doc. And you have 20 pages per month for free account. I have used 4 pages this month. So I will click on the enhanced PDF and choose my computer or Google Drive. Now we'll choose my computer. It's on my desktop. Open this, and it takes a few seconds to process the file. So here is the file. So to add this question, what's nice about it is when you add a question here, and select, we'll say this is a multiple selection, which is there is more than one answer, and create multiple selection. It recognizes the options that is in the worksheet. So it says A, B, C, D automatically. So what you can do is you can just click the right answer, A, C, D, and tag your standards. It's very handy, very quick and easy. Okay, let me make sure you, any questions so far or anything that you missed? Okay, so I missed some of the questions, so I will go back to, so Jian asked, how do you change the font size for the text feature? So let me show you how to do that. So I will go to preview to show you how to do this. Go to show your work. So when you have the text here, what you need to do is you need to select the select button and then reduce the size like this. And Krista had a question. Sure. Krista had a question. Can you upload an assessment, for example, one from a math curriculum? I'm not sure what you meant by a math curriculum, but you can upload the existing pages, PDF, and Google Docs. So if your file is saved as a PDF or Google Doc or Word Doc, you can upload it. And can an assessment? Ben asked, can an assessment be differentiated, or does that need to be a different upload? Can an assessment be differentiated? I'm not sure what you meant by differentiated. Does that need to be a different upload? Okay. So Ben, if you don't mind clarifying your questions by differentiated, I will try to answer the question. To be a different upload. Okay. So let me exit out from here. Can an assessment be modified for some students, or would 2 separate tests need to be created? But so there are two parts of this question. First, you need to have two separate tests for each group, and so how you assign a formative as you assign by classroom, but this is for the basic feature. But if you go to the premium features, it is possible that you assign a certain test to a group of individuals. So, but for the basic version, it's not available. But if you go to premium versions, it's possible. So to do so, if you go to, let me go to the specific formative and go to assign and select a class and assign. You can assign like this. Or you go back to the specific formative and assign. And if you click on this button right here, there is premium feature over here, restrict to individual students. And this is a premium feature, so I cannot demonstrate right now, but there is a 30-day free trial. And actually there is Formative is actually donating to school districts who need to transform their instruction to online. So it is possible that you can upgrade it to this feature for free. Okay, so let me go back to the question and make sure I cover everything here. So formatives, that's how you create a new formative. And if you go to classes, I see so many of you are using Google Classroom, and the integration into Google Classroom is very handy. So if you have a Google Classroom set up here, you can click on Google Classroom, and I saw a few people are using Google Clever as well, so you can do that as well. So if you click on Google Classroom, you will be asked to log in to your account. And you will see all of your classes. So you click on this and you can select some individuals and then import. Okay. You can do the same thing with the Clever. So that the class is where you add your classes. Canvas is not, so for the free version, Canvas is not available for integration, but if you upgrade it to the premium feature, and especially the team premium feature, LTI is available through Canvas and any other learning management systems. So Jean asked, what does that look like from a student perspective on a classroom when it's imported? Very good question. So I actually had let me show you. I had another account as a student. So let me log in. Log in, and the account that I use is Microsoft. I created a bunch of different accounts for the demonstration purpose. So I'm trying to remember which one is which. Okay. So this is the student account. So what you see here is you see the formative classes and tracker, and you see the assessment that is assigned to you. So if you click on this, oh, okay. So this was not a student account. Let me, yeah. I had a student account, but what you see, so let me explain what it looks like. So if you go into the student account, they will see the formatives that were assigned to them, and then they will be able to select view all or by classes. And if they go to classes, they will see the classes that they joined. So on the Google Classroom, when it's imported, let me show you. Okay, so well, let me go back to the tab. And so to assign a formative to a Google Classroom, where you have to go is you have to find the specific formative. So when you locate the specific formative, you need to click on assign and then choose the Google Classroom. And you have two options, assign and post to Google, which means you assign it to the Google Classroom students and post to the stream of the Google Classroom. And or you can do assign only. So let me click on assign and post to Google, and you will be asked to log in. Okay, click OK. So if you go back, so it may take a few minutes. Here you see Dabe Lee posted a new assignment via Formative Bloom's Mastery Learning. And then if you click on it, you can see the work. I'm signed in as an instructor, so this is why I'm seeing this version. But if they are logged in as a student, they will see the student version. Hope this addressed your question, Jin. Let me go back. And another thing that I wanted to show you was the tracker. So tracker is where you can track individuals' growth. So you can select the formatives for standards and tag. I don't have any data for standards, but I will show you some specific example. But when you see the formatives, you can see individuals' formatives progress, students' progress on each individual student. And if you switch to standards and tag, you can see by standards. And you can see the all students or by classes. You can sort by their name or days or type, which type you have. And there is expert function, but expert may not be available for a number of times. I know there are 4 times per month for basic account. But so I will show you how it looks like. So what's good about Formative is it has this question mark button. This is your help button. So here is getting started checklist, and then helpful resources. You have a help center where you can ask questions to the Go Formative teams, and community center where you can interact with other educators who are using Go Formative, and video tutorials. And here we have track student growth. So let me click on this. And see here, I would like to show track class and individual growth on standards. If you click on here, you can see, you can see how it looks like. You can sort by the classes. And also you can see its specific class and see individuals view. If you click on individual students, you can see the individual view. And you can click on its specific item and see how she did. Okay. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to show you, do you have any questions so far? So I have a question from Amanda. Will Go Formative import the grades into Google Classroom or mark them as complete in Google Classroom? This is a very good question. I know we can do this with the Google Forms, yes, but I'm not sure what about Go Formative. This is possible for premium feature. So I will show you what is possible in premium feature. But if you have a premium feature, you can integrate your Google Go Formative student data into Google Classroom right away. Okay, so I will. One other thing that I wanted to make sure that I show you is the library. So library is where you can find the existing formatives created by other educators. So you can search by the topic or standards. So such as add to count to 100, and you can find the count to 100. Or what's better is you can filters. So here you have a grade level and subject areas and standards. So it shows the standards that you add to your account. So again, to add your standards to your account, you have to go to the account and settings to add the standards. But what's nice about this is you can specify what you would like to have. So there's no count to 100 topic in grade level 4 in science. So it doesn't show anything. But you have plan or science. Yes, I had too many. Oh, I had. And you can sort by popularity, rating, and date. So here rating is 2.5. So I would choose a better ratings like this or like this, or even this one. Okay, and I showed you about this help center, community center, and video tutorials. And please refer to this getting started checklist if you have any questions and if you would like to see some visual aids. And Go Formative does a very good job with that. Okay, so finally, what I wanted to show you was the premium features. So when you click on premium, you have two options, individual license and team license. Individual license, you have advanced question type, and here is unlimited PDF, and assigned to individual students, which allows you to assign some specific formative to a group of students. And batch scoring and feedback, which means you can select multiple students and send the same feedback to those students because there are common mistakes. And you can schedule open and close times and unlimited experts. And here, Google Classroom Grade Prospect. This is the feature that allows to integrate, send your data, grades data to Google Classroom. Okay, and there is team license, which is for a school or a school district. And for this one, you can share folders. So this is for facilitating collaboration among teachers. So there are many collaboration features like shared folders and common assessments, which means you create a common assessment and administer throughout the school district or a school, and team management. And here is LTI integration, which means you can integrate your LMS like Canvas, Schoology, or other LMS for the formative to communicate with them. So you can you can assign formatives, and you can see the grades of the student data within the LMS. And here is what is Another thing, if you are an administrator, you can do automatic rostering, which means you have a school student information system, and it can feed the data from school information system and sync them to the formative account, so that individual teachers do not have to do that. And what's good about the team formative is now, let me show you. Because of the COVID, many online tools have become free, and they provide free versions. And when you go to, okay, let me log out from here and go to Formative. Here, facing COVID-19, we are donating team subscription to schools that may need to teach virtually. So you can click this button, or you can click the schools button, and you will see what's available. And if you click on here, if you set complete this form, you will be able to use this premium features until June 30th, 2020. They may extend the period or not, but this is a good chance to check it out and see if you can make a purchase by the school district or by the school. Okay, go back. And so that was how to create a formative. But I wanted to make sure I covered the implementation part. So we covered it briefly, but if you click on, you have to choose a specific formative to assign. And if you go to assign, you can do a guest code, link, or code. So you can create a link or embed or Google Classroom. And then you can choose the Google Classroom to enter. And what I wanted to show you was this option that you can restrict to individual students, which was a premium. And then if you have after submission option, so it can be allow edits, which means they can have multiple attempts after they submit, even after they submit their answer, and make hidden or keep visible, but no edits allowed. And you can return score instantly after students submit, and don't show scores and when closed. And return correct answers, so you can show the correct answers after student submits, and don't and when closed. When closed means you can close the button, close the formative. Okay. Let me check your questions. My chat box keeps disappearing, so I will have to click and open it. Well, okay, let me make sure. Okay, so I don't see any more questions. Do you have any other questions? So again, there are some pretty good features for premium accounts. And Go Formative is very good at scheduling a demo if a group of teachers or a school or district-wide interest is there. And there is a free version, a free access available through June 30th. So we would like to see if there are any questions. So we have 5 more minutes and see if there's any question arise. And if you don't, here is the QR code for evaluation of this workshop? Sure. Thank you, Linda. And this is the link. So if you'd like to give us feedback, we appreciate any feedback. Sure. So I will wait until 2:55 and see if there are any questions arise. But thank you for joining the workshop, and I hope this was very helpful, and it will enhance your online teaching skills and experience of students. Well, thank you, everyone. Well, thank you, Young-hae. Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Rochelle. One more time. Oh. Oh, so I actually had another poll just to check your understanding. So if you are interested in, while waiting for questions, you can go ahead and complete this poll. Okay. On a free formative account, there are 20 pages available per month. Okay, very good. Okay. So it's 2:55, so I will exit out. I will end the program. But let me quickly share the results of the poll. So on the first question, the right answer is 20 pages. The second question, account and settings, correct. And third question, this is correct, assign Google Classroom and assign and post. And where can you find existing formatives? Library, very good. And where can you track individual student progress? Tracker, very good. So I will stop share results. And I will conclude this workshop by acting out. So thank you, everyone.